So let's start building a new wheel. I have a new hub motor here, and I'm going to build it up on a 20-inch rim, which I have here. And I had a hub motor before this, which I managed to destroy, and I ordered a new one. And to my slight disappointment, the flange outer diameter is not exactly the same as on the first hub motor I had. This one is slightly smaller, 4 millimeters smaller in diameter, so that means that my old spokes, which I have here and I was planning to use, will be a bit short. But I will try to build up the wheel using these spokes now and then order 2 millimeter longer spokes and replace them once I get them, but now I want to have my bike up and running again. So if we look at the hub, we see that the hub is now centered in the truing stand. On both sides we have a washer, and that's the way it's supposed to be. We can also see that the distance between these 2 points is longer on this side than it is on this side, clearly. And that means that the rim will be, once it's centered, it will be offset to the left, meaning that the spokes on this side have to be slightly shorter than those on this side. And I have my spokes there with the shorter ones on the left and the longer ones on the right, so it's important to remember to take spokes from the right side then when I start building. I will try to line up the Cyclotech brand name with the valve hole here on the rim so that they are in sync like so. I've read that it shows some level of professionalism if you could read the markings on the hub through the valve hole, but I don't have any markings worth reading through that, so I was thinking perhaps this is a good practice then to line them up like so. So here are the two first rounds of spokes installed. This is the spoke I started with, and the valve hole is up there, so I want to install the spoke and then rotate the hub counterclockwise to create room for the valve stem that it's going down here. So I install the spokes at the hub, every other spokes, and then there's every fourth spoke, so there's like 3 holes, empty holes in between there. Then from the other side, the first spoke I installed was this one. So this was my very first spoke on the first round, and this is just slightly right of that spoke looking from there. And it installs just before every spoke here on this other side. So this creates this empty space here for the valve stem to come through, and you can attach your pump and all when you need to refill your tire. So that's an important thing. And this is the third round of spokes. They will now go in every other empty hole here on the non-drive side. They are inserted from the outside, and then they will go over the first round of spoke that I installed. You can see here. And they go to the right of the second round of spokes, which are these, creating this one cross pattern then eventually on both sides. Okay, and now the third round of spokes is completed. These spokes, which are on the drive side and which cross over the first round of spokes. So that's why this wheel is called one cross. Now the last round of spokes is left. It's going to go in from the outside. So that's it. All spokes are installed, and it's time to start to bring the wheel up to tension. Okay, so I brought it up to some tension, and as there was a slight difference in diameter, this was smaller than the old hub, the OD, like distance from here to here. So my old spokes are going to be a little bit short. And I don't know if the camera will focus, you will see there's simply too much thread exposed. Let's try to focus. Now it's seen, maybe 3 millimeters at this point. But so far I've just eyeballed it to try to get even tension on both sides, and you can see that when we spin the wheel it's pretty good already. This is just eyeballing. And as I said, I'm going to build the wheel up with the spokes I have right now, and I will just have to order 3 millimeter longer spokes for both sides and switch them then at a later point. And the next thing I'm going to do is just to do a rough dishing of the wheel to have it centered on the axle. I have my whatever that is called, this thing down here, this truing screw, set to about 1 to 2 millimeters of tolerance, and now I'm going to flip the wheel around here in the truing stand to see what it looks like. So the wheel is flipped, and as you can see, the gap down there is much bigger, so the wheel will need to, the rim will need to move to the left now. And now I've done 2 full turns. I've tightened 2 full turns on the spokes on this side, and you can see that the gap is now much smaller. Now it's time to flip the wheel around again and see if the gap looks even, and that gap is perhaps too big, so we can adjust it closer to see, to get a better feel for how close they are now when we flip the wheel. So let's flip it. And there it is. You can see it's beginning to be very close. The gap is just slightly bigger on this side. It's probably not more than 1 millimeter. So we will do maybe begin with tightening half a turn the spokes on the left side now. Okay, I ended up doing a 1/4 turn on the left side now, and that's where we're at now. You can see that the wheel is out or through more than it was when I began dishing it. But I think this is it now for a rough dishing, and I will be truing it now next, and then when I have it true I'll check the center, the dishing of the wheel one more time. Okay, I think the wheel is ready actually now. So I did a bit of truing, and this is what it looks like right now. I think it's pretty good. You might wonder why the rim looks like a mess, and it really is a mess by now. I once had to, or tried to, drill it out for e-bike specific spokes, but the ones I had ordered, they were too short. So now it looks like this. And the spokes I'm using are just, they are pretty standard spokes. They are 2.3. Okay, so here I am doing a test ride with the newly built front wheel, and it looks good. I'm almost out of battery, so I really can't tell. It's not a fair comparison to the old motor yet, but as far as I can tell from this short test ride, they probably are close to equal in power output. And what makes me a bit regret that I opened the first hub motor now is these are really close in noise to each other. There was really nothing wrong with the first motor at all, so I should have just been riding it till the gears failed. These are the same way noisy or silent, which way you put it. Not a big difference, so it looks like a 5,000 kilometer ridden hub motor is still just fine. Well, sometimes you just have to learn the hard way, and that's what I did now. So this is the end of my rebuild of my front 250 watt hub motor.